This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm delighted to be joined by Jeff Mayweather here in Las Vegas once again. Jeff, firstly, how are you?
Great.
Good to hear. Obviously, we're getting ready for another big fight at welterweight. Terence Crawford, Shawn Porter. I want to get your take, your thoughts. What do you expect to see on Saturday night?
I think it's going to be an awesome fight. And these are two of my favorite fighters, really. And to be honest, I just want the best. Whoever wins. It's not going to be about, I think that this person or that person. I mean, but still, I lean slightly toward Crawford. And I think that Shawn is a beast, and Shawn, he brings the best out of every fighter because he has that tremendous pressure, nonstop, throws lots of punches. So I think that it's going to be a tough fight. I think it's going to be a close fight, and but I just lean slightly toward Crawford because of his boxing skills. And he actually has, he's one of those guys he has so many dimensions and different ways to beat you. He's left-handed, he's right-handed, he can box and plus he can punch. So I mean, he's a full package. He's probably one of the, I would say him and Canelo probably right now are two guys that are really at their peak. And basically they don't make a whole lot of mistakes, and I think that but that Crawford is the one that I'm gonna have to see on Saturday to beat Porter. Porter is a dog.
What type of statement would it send to the rest of the division if Terence was to beat Shawn, but to do so maybe in a bit more of a comfortable fashion than what maybe you're saying here? You think it's going to be a tighter fight than as most people do, but say if Terence was to win and he was to do so comfortably, what statement do you think it sends out?
Well, I think it sends a statement, of course, to Spence, and basically because the one thing with him and Spence is there's always talk about who should get paid more. But if by chance he does beat Porter in a better fashion, I mean, then Crawford would be able to say, maybe I should be getting paid more. So I mean, I think that it'll. I mean, I'm really excited about this fight and just waiting for the fight to happen.
You mentioned Canelo earlier on. What do you make of the WBC approving him moving up to cruiserweight to potentially challenge a longer Makabu for the WBC title?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know nothing about that guy. So, I mean, and usually when you don't know nothing, usually mean that they really haven't done nothing. I mean, because even if you're coming up and if you're really, really good, people still know you. And so I think that, Canelo's and plus, just because the guy's bigger than you doesn't mean he's better than you. And so, and then chances are, Canelo is much better than this guy. I mean, completely. Not just saying because the guy's bigger doesn't mean he's better or he can punch harder or anything. So I just think that Canelo's probably the better fighter, and the better fighter's going to win.
If Canelo was to do it and he was to move up, become a 5-weight world champion, where does that cement him in terms of his legacy, and especially in Mexican boxing?
I mean, I would already say that. I mean, his legacy should be at the top right now, and I don't think that he necessarily has to do anything else. I mean, I think that, the people they completely fell in love with Chavez. Chavez was great for boxing as well, but still, Chavez only went from lightweight to welterweight, right? And I mean, Canelo's already surpassed that. So, and I mean, and it's a little different because Chavez was that typical Mexican type fighter, and I think that that's the reason why, because he fought in a blood guts way as opposed to Canelo. Canelo's a boxer, and he's a very smart boxer, and so that's probably why when you mention Canelo, especially around Mexican people, they don't want to give him that credit that he really deserves.
Let's say Canelo moves up and he's successful. How does his CV now rank against Floyd's?
Say it again now.
If you say if Canelo moves up to cruiserweight and he is successful, how would his CV, his resume, compare to Floyd's?
Well, the one thing is this: the person that beat you, you don't never pass their resume because they beat your ass already. So I mean, he can beat 100 more guys. Floyd already beat him, so it doesn't matter. He's not going to surpass Floyd no matter what he does.
Fair enough, Jeff. Just a final one, as somebody who trains fighters as well, I want to get your take. Anthony Joshua has spoken about potentially teaming up with a new trainer. What are your thoughts ahead of his rematch with Alexander Usyk next year? Who do you think he should look to maybe work towards if he was to leave Rob McCracken?
Me.
Go on, Jeff. Put your name in the hat. Go for it.
Put me in the hat. Yeah. I mean, really, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know. I mean, me myself, honestly, when I say that, I might be joking, but at the same time, I know that I can help him. You know, it's just the same thing, just like with Wilder. I know that I can help him, but at the end of the day, it's not my choice. So, it's just, it is what it is. You know.
What would you say to AJ then? Let's say if you was to have a discussion with him, he spoke to Robert Garcia, Eddie Reynoso, Ronnie Shields, Virgil Hunter over here in the States. Say if he was to reach out to you, what would you say to him? How would you advise him heading into that rematch?
I mean, heading into that rematch, I would say, first of all, don't try to outbox a boxer. That's first of all. I mean, you 20 pounds bigger than this man, and fight him. Fight him like you're a heavyweight. I mean, and I think that's what hurt him more than anything, is because he's trying to outbox a boxer, and a lot of times when you're trying to outbox a boxer, I mean, it's tough because, I mean, the guy's he's a lighter, he's lighter, he's smaller, he used to moving away from bigger guys, you know. And I mean, don't get me wrong, the fight was close. It wasn't like he got whitewashed or anything. I mean, the fight was close, but I just think that when you're a heavyweight, fight like a heavyweight. It was great what he did with the fight that he had lost prior to that with Ruiz. That was fine. I mean, you need to learn how to box because, I mean, he's a heavyweight. He's a full-fledged heavyweight. But against a guy that's smaller than you, go beat his ass. That should have been his mentality.
All right, Jeff, we'll leave it there now because I know you've got other work to do and you've got to take over from your own interviewing duties now. So I appreciate your time. Thank you for speaking to me as always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right.